Hey, what's up guys, Nicky Aludet here. I'm at the airport right now and I'm going to Latvia to judge a dance battle. There is one thing I used to struggle a lot with is when I would start dancing in a dance battle, I would ask myself what I'm going to do next, what I'm going to do next. That would be the question. And I used to think that it's actually a good question to ask myself, because I would be like, okay, if I ask myself what I'm going to do next, then I would know what I'm going to do next to respond to my opponent, for example, and then my freestyle would be better. But most of the time, it doesn't work this way. Most of the time, I would mess up completely because I actually set up expectation for myself and I would be disappointed. And most of the time, it creates more frustration and I would be overwhelmed during my performance. And I realized that actually freestyle is something that is so spontaneous. I should not be like, okay, kind of trying to predict the future and ask myself what I'm going to do next. So the more you kind of create expectation, the more you're going to create frustration and you might be overwhelmed during your performance. So on the other hand, I thought to myself, okay, actually the moment that when I feel really well and I do a great performance in a battle is the moment that I don't actually ask myself this question and I just go for it. And when I go for it, I trust that in the moment, it's like that I know already that everything is gonna be all right, you see? And the moment I start thinking this way, then my freestyle is much more natural, it's much more organic, and everything kind of go smoothly. So the question now is, how can you get to a level where you are confident enough that you trust what you're gonna be doing gonna be all right? Because you know that no matter what is going on, when you start dancing, everything gonna be all right. All right, so just arrived at the hotel. And as I was saying, if you want to reach a certain level where you don't really think that much about what you're gonna be doing next, I think the first question to ask yourself is, how much do you trust yourself as a dancer? How much do you trust yourself as a dancer? This is a very important question to ask yourself, because I realized that even though I was training very consistently, I didn't trust myself that much. So therefore, when I was going to dance on stage, I thought that the best option for me was to plan as much as I can so that I could do a good job, because I didn't really trust myself that much. But back then, I didn't know about that. It's only after years of experience, and then I reflect on my behavior, back in the days when I started, and I realized, okay, I didn't trust myself that much. I didn't let my instinct guide me and see what I can come up with, even though I've been training, very consistently. So the first thing is to really understand, how much do you trust yourself? That's very important, because one of the reasons why you cannot dance to your full potential on stage is because unconsciously you don't really trust your skills. You don't really trust what you already have right now, you see? So I'm not saying that there is no room of improvement. I don't know about your level right now, but if you can't really tap into your full potential, on stage when you are dancing in a battle or when you are exchanging with other dancers and you feel kind of stressed and stuff like that, unconsciously you do not fully trust what you have right now. You do not fully trust yourself right now. Then the next question would be, do you actually practice trust? When you are training, are you practicing trust? What do I mean by that? And actually, how can you practice trust? Most young dancers, they do not know themselves well enough. And the fact that you don't know yourself really well, it's gonna be really hard for you to trust yourself. And it's like, would you trust someone that you don't know? Of course you wouldn't trust this person. So if you don't really know yourself as a dancer, then it's gonna be really hard for you to trust yourself on the field. It's gonna be really hard for you to trust yourself on stage. You see what I mean? So you need to spend a lot of time to truly understand who you are as a dancer, so you can get familiar with you, with your way of moving, with your style. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you spent time analyzing yourself? So let me be clear on this, because when I talk about analyzing yourself and studying yourself, we might not be talking about the same thing. Just watching a video of you battling or doing a pre-selection, it's not studying yourself. It's only, scratching the surface. So let's talk about this much more. Right, so now it's time to go back home, back to London. So I had a really good time judging this event yesterday, and now it's time to finish this video. So I'm gonna finish it at home, so see you soon. So as I was saying, the question now is, when was the last time you actually analyze yourself and study yourself in depth? There's a difference when you do a pre-selection or a battle and when you are training at home. There's a big difference. So this is why I say, just watching your videos when you are doing a pre-selection or in an event, it's a good way to analyze yourself and study yourself, but it's not necessarily the best way, because when you are dancing in your room, on your own, usually you go more in depth. Usually you get much closer to your full potential, and this is when often dancers feel so comfortable and they go for it, and they do their own thing, and you usually come up with some amazing stuff, even though you can do some great performances in an event as well. But it's never exactly the same thing when you are dancing on your own at home, and these moments are key. You need to be aware of these moments. You need to understand these moments much more and study them much more. I'm not saying that you should be filming yourself every single training. Personally, I don't even do that, but you can do it maybe once a month. You say, okay, once a month, there's one training where I'm gonna just put the camera somewhere and start freestyling. The thing is that when you start doing this, if you're not used to it, it can be disturbing at first, and you can be like, oh, now I'm thinking about the camera too much, and my training doesn't feel natural. And I can understand that, because I used to be the same as well. But it's okay. You just need to keep doing it over and over again, and you will get familiar with it. Some of my students in the BTM Academy, one of the things that they find very beneficial for them is the fact that they have to film themselves training on a regular basis. And at the beginning, it was a struggle for them, but many of them now, they get used to it. It's like knowing that you've got someone watching you, but it's okay. I'm confident enough to ignore this person, like, I was literally alone in the room. You see what I mean? Even though I've got the camera. So this mindset, you need to train it on a regular basis. Maybe after 2, 3, 4 trainings with the camera, then you will get used to it. But the good thing about that is the moment you forget about the camera and you start dancing and you go really deep in your training and stuff like that, the camera is recording everything. The camera is recording those very organic moments that you are having, and then you sit down and you start analyzing those moments. And I can guarantee you, those moments are not the same when you are doing a pre-selection or a battle, right? These are not the same type of moment. It's like you're gonna have your most authentic freestyle to watch, to analyze, to study. And when you start doing this, you will have a better idea of why you are doing certain things, how you are doing certain things, what you like about your way of moving, what are the things that you could, possibly change, what are the things that you could possibly improve. What you need to keep in mind is that when you are freestyling at home and training at home, and you feel good, you feel that you had a really good training, is one thing. But most of you do not witness the fact that you had a great training. Yeah, you only feel that, okay, I had a good training, I had a great training, I felt good today. That's great. But you didn't witness that, right? You didn't see it with your eyes. Yeah, you just felt it, which is good. But you also get into the habit of seeing this. And when I feel good, these are the type of things that I can come up with. So therefore, actually, there are certain things that maybe I've never shown to the public, but I know that I've got them somewhere. Now, eventually with time, I will be able to get into this potential on command and show it to the public, but at least I know that, okay, it's somewhere. I may not control it 100% now, but I've witnessed it many times. I didn't just feel it, but I also see it many times because I feel myself when I'm training and I analyze, I study myself, I know myself much better, therefore I've got much more trust in myself, but also in my skills. You see what I mean? So this is those little details are things that you shouldn't neglect. But this mindset, you have to cultivate it over and over and over again. You see what I mean? So that's my message for you today, guys, and I hope you find value from this video. And if yes, as usual, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with all the videos coming. All right, so right now I'm tired. I just came home. I'm gonna go eat something, chill, sleep, and tomorrow I'm going to Paris for all 4 hours. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.